Sorry. I didn't even realize there was no sound. Okay, so let me start again. Good afternoon. I'm trying to make technical, like little wires and stuff connect here. And the wires, okay, there we go. Wires are, I have to do this, do or die. Because you guys have to understand, like when I come on here, listen, everything that was not happening before I came online starts happening. Everything that you could think of, every nonsense. It just comes to the point where you're like, look, I have something to do and I'm gonna do it. And that's the end of that. So that's how I have to approach it. So sometimes I get on here and it's like my hair is not the way that I want my hair to be, and it's like, oh well, oh well. You know, you guys gotta work with me because you don't have a choice. That's all. I just want to get this done in the middle of my day, in the middle of other obligations that I have to get done. I got other things to do. I got to take care of myself. I have things to constantly get ahead of. And if coming on live is being blocked, you can only imagine how my business is being blocked. You can only imagine how other things that I have to do is getting blocked. I am facing so many blockages all the time. Whew, child, it's something else. It's constantly something else. So, if the hair, you know, we aim for it to be fresh, but you know, you're gonna take what you got. That's what it is. That's how it is being a TI. You gotta take what you got and you gotta work with what you got. Today I'm gonna talk about buoyancy. And it's crazy because I was thinking about a boy as far as yachting goes, as far as like boating goes. So boy spelled Buoy. And the definition of being buoyant is to the ability to, or apt to stay afloat or rise to the top of a liquid or gas. This was surprising for me. There's also a definition of buoyancy in regards to being cheerful and optimistic. In an economy, buoyancy is whether economic in a business or like a global market sense, it's involving or engaging in a lot of activity. So what I want to talk about today is, let me get back to where I had my notes. You, as a targeted individual, as a TI, you want to remain buoyant. Heavy emotions, and I'm talking from an emotional standpoint, heavy emotions are passengers, they are not drivers. So that's going to be the theme of what I'm going to be talking about. These kind of things, when you're going through whether it's being gang stalked, whether it's just like a heavy life circumstance, these twists and turns, they constantly come. You have got to be able to weather it emotionally first, and from an appropriate emotional place, then you can start to deal with it in the real world. Then you can start to make plans, make moves forward, deal with plans not like falling through or not going right, deal with the curveballs that come with it. And especially when you have forces, like in your case as a targeted individual, you have forces working against you and you have this level of opposition. It's not just like you have this one hater. It's like you have a ringleader that's organizing more people, and they're not just doing it because they don't like you, even though they don't. They do it passionately. They're doing it because they're getting paid. People are getting paid. There's money involved. So that ups the ante. That guarantees that people are going to get up and show up to work. That guarantees that it's going to be harder to stop because there's something in it for people. The first thing that I want to talk about, the overwhelming message on how you remain buoyant, remaining buoyant. It's easy to kind of like accidentally be positive here and there, not accidentally, but having moments where the environment lends to something being positive. So something positive happens, and then you're like, oh, I'm in a good mood because I won the lottery. I'm in a good mood because I accomplished a goal or I had something nice happen. That is a person whose emotional vibration is dependent on their environment. You can afford to do so when you're not being gang stalked. When you are being gang stalked, your environment is going to be overwhelmingly heavy and negative all the time, all the time. So you have to be able to not depend on your environment to be in a good mood. You have to be able to be your own good mood. You have to be able to control what kind of day you're going to have, how optimistic you're going to feel, how purposeful you're going to feel, how much you're going to push through opposition, push through things not working out, push through those moments when things are not working. And I always connect it not just to being gang stalked, but in life in general. This is a lifelong skill that needs to be built up. And as a matter of fact, if I didn't already have this skill figured out, at least figuring out how to do it, or that it should be done, or that it is something that needs to be done, had I not had this already figured out, I wouldn't even know where to begin with this. Like, because what happens is a lot of people wake up in a sucky mood every day because their life is already sucky. And when you add on top of that being gang stalked, it's like if you were a person who was used to being negative all the time, if you were a person who always had an issue with things, and now you're a targeted individual, you are far out to sea. Like, you have sharks circling you. You're going to be one of the first people to fall because you're going to turn in on yourself. If you are one of those people who, whenever somebody tried to boost your spirits and boost your mood, and they're like, it's not that bad, and then you start giving them 100 reasons why it's that bad, we all know that person. You get exhausted and you're like, do what you got to do. Do what you got to do, you know, and you just stand by and you watch them sink. They don't try. They don't make a move. They don't do anything because it's like they have already convinced themselves. They're a negative Nancy. They've already convinced themselves that something's not going to work. If you end up being gang stalked with that attitude, you are not going to last 6 months. You are definitely going to be one of those people who's going to be like, oh my God, and you are going under. You are going under fast. You're a glass half empty type of person. For people who are half glass half full type of people, everything in gang stalking is being designed for the most optimistic people. Well, how do we tear them down? How do we bring them to a point where they don't believe in anything? They don't believe in God anymore. They don't believe in themselves. They don't believe they can hold on. They can keep pushing through. They are impatient. We got to get them impatient. We got to get them not believing in themselves. They can see the progress that you're making, and that's the progress that they attack. And so you got to stay in it long enough to see what the attacks are and counterattack, to see when doors are closed on you and see how you can maybe not even bother reopening that door, but find another way where this door cannot be closed because of the circumstances surrounding it. So you got to stay in long enough to figure things out, to find it out. And of course, you're waiting for things to get better. You're waiting for police to do what they hopefully should be doing. You're waiting for evidence to stack up. You're waiting for God to come through. You're waiting for all of this. And in the meantime that you're waiting and you're keeping your faith alive and you're keeping yourself motivated, you got to continue moving through. You got to do the work. You cannot just sit here and lay on your back and think that things are going to come to you. And it's never been like that in life. The rule always remains that we come here to live this life. It's very easy to have a defeatist attitude, and I'm not going to hold that against anyone because you are being put in a very, like, a lot of odds are against you. So it's easy to have a very defeatist attitude. It's easy to have an attitude of, oh my God, nothing is going to work. Oh my goodness, blah, blah, blah. It's so easy to do that. It's the lowest hanging fruit, but you got to keep motivating yourself, pushing yourself forward, keep going. This is just with your environment. Just your environment by itself is already tough. The environment is tough. I'm here to tell you that people are doing spell work to stop your mood from being light, cheerful, and happy. You are being projected negative emotions. You're being projected rage. You're being projected the anxiety. You're being projected the paranoia. You're being projected self-defeating thoughts. You're being projected self-sabotage. You're being projected ideas that things will never work out for you. People are projecting that towards you. So now, on top of facing your environment that is all of a sudden become very hostile, you now have the added work, challenge of pulling up your personal, you have the additional challenge of fighting off feelings that are not yours, feelings that you're being projected. So one of the first things I always talk about, I always say the gang stalking does not work without the spell work. Without the spell work, the gang stalking looks ridiculous. It looks like there's a lot of people around you. Looks like people are doing a lot of stupid things, but the anxiety and the paranoia, once you've acclimatized to it, once you know what's going on, you're not feeling anxiety and paranoia of people coming around anymore. You just see people. If you go out in public and someone exhibits gang stalking behavior, meaning drifting really close to listen to what you're saying, who cares? You're not telling anybody like the secret codes to, like, I don't know, your bank account or something. You're having a random conversation with someone in public. It doesn't matter how many people gather around. It is what it is. Sure, they're going to try to use that information, but remember, now you know what's going on already. So you see your words regurgitated, or you see, if you said, I like blue, and then somebody pops up and says, I like blue, and like everybody's popping up saying, I like blue, then you know they got that from that conversation, and that is what it is. You got to start unburdening yourself of some of these things that you cannot control. You got to just start living your life. It is what it is. You got to start rolling with the punches. You got to start getting rid of things that are weighing you down. So that's why I want to talk about being the boy. B-U-O-Y. I'm going to put a picture of a boy on this when I post it. A boy is pretty much like just a ball. It's full of air. It's sealed. And when you put it on water, it's going to float. If it has a rope attached to it and someone were to go under it and pull it down, while they're hanging on to it, it will stay underwater, but its natural disposition is to be above water. It wants to float. As soon as that resistance is taken off of it, as soon as the weight is taken off of it, it will immediately bounce back to the top. That is where you want to be emotionally. So that's what we're going to talk about. First of all, emotional healing is a habitual practice. Emotional healing is not a one-time thing. Emotional healing is something where You got to get to the point that you are going to be healing yourself all the time. You have to develop an attitude that you do not wait for something to be done to heal it. You start healing in the middle of your chaos, in the middle of your trials, in the middle of your difficult situations in life. The healing starts now, today, right now. It is habitual. If it has to be daily, it's daily. If it has to be every time a negative thought comes up, then it's every time the negative thoughts comes up. The healing has to be consistent. You got to be persistent about this. Just like you're going to be persistent about moving forward, just like you're going to be persistent about winning this, making sure that you get out of this, making sure that not only do you get out of this safely, but you're going to build yourself a new life. You got to be persistent in every way, shape, or form. The guarantee is going to be that every single day you show up, no matter what's going on. Or else, if people have a way, if you say, I'm not feeling good today, I can't get this done, then now somebody has a way of making sure that you don't get up every single day. And every single day, one day leads to another day, leads to another day, and before you know it, you're being inconsistent, and before you know, you're giving up. Because people are fighting against you every day. They're fighting against you energetically, spiritually, physically, financially, all the lees. People are fighting against you in every way, shape, or form. So you got to get up every day, and you have to control the mood, first of all, that you're getting up in. Yes, you can get up and you could push yourself. I'm going to go. I'm going to get this done. I'm going to motivate myself. I'm going to use my willpower. But the mood controls how easy or difficult and what way you get it done. Somebody who wants to wash the dishes washes the dishes in a different mood than somebody who's just washing the dishes because they were told to, or they're going to get in trouble for it. That is how you have to kind of look at it. The way you approach things, the attitude with which you approach it, changes the result. It changes the way you do it. It changes how attractive it is for people consuming it. It changes the whole thing. So your mood is your best friend right now. Healing is the way you rejuvenate your energy. Healing is the way you rejuvenate yourself. Healing is the way you give yourself that boost, that emotional boost. Give me a second. This is how you rejuvenate yourself. This is how you replenish your energy. This is how you bounce up emotionally. It's all healing. It is fortifying to your aura. A person who is unhealed, who is emotionally damaged, is a person who is prime for manipulation, for attack, and especially spiritual attack. I'm going to repeat it. A person who is emotionally unhealed and not acknowledging that they need to heal and not recognizing it and not moving forward. A person who is unhealed is prime and ready for spiritual attack. You are a soft, warm, gushy place for demonic entities to take hold. That is whether you believe it or not. If you are envious, if you are hateful, if you are prideful, if you have not healed wounds that are begging and pleading to be healed, if you have allowed someone to throw you into a low vibration, a negative spirit, to conjure up feelings in you, this is a plan. First, we're going to make you low vibrational, then we're going to attack you, then we're going to have the result that we want, no matter what it is. This is what you want to avoid. So healing yourself fortifies your aura. It is medicinal to you when you get bit or stung by low vibing energies, when you have particular events that occur. A lot of the things during gang stalking that you need to worry about are things that you're not even doing to yourself, are things that you have no business being a part of. You don't even know how you're in this drama. You don't know who these people are. They've cultivated a whole scenario, and here you are in the middle of it, and it's really affecting you. It might be slander. It might be, I don't know, some type of big situation. You're in the middle of this. You need to heal from it. And the healing might be the medicine that you're looking for. A lot of times we're looking for closure from people. Well, why did somebody do this? Why did this happen? None of this is important. None of this at all is important. You just have to continue not just moving forward, but addressing things that you didn't necessarily ask for, but that's this life journey. It's unfortunate to think this, but it's like, part of our path is just to do a ton of heavy lifting, to do a lot of hard work. Like, that is our path. That is what we're here for. And maybe we're here to do it to show other people how difficult it is to get through these circumstances, but that it can be done. Maybe we're here to do it to challenge ourselves. Maybe we're paying karma from a past lifetime. Who knows what it is? I think it doesn't so much matter as to making sure that you continue pushing forward. You do the hard work. Every day is not going to be perfect. You're not going to have perfect days every day, but you got to have productive days every day. You got to try to control it as much as you can. And lastly, healing is a lifestyle. That is not a way that people traditionally deal with healing or think about healing, but healing is a lifestyle. It's a lifestyle choice to want to continue to remain healed. You cannot think to yourself, gang stalking or not, that you're just going to heal one time and go. You have to heal one thing multiple times. You got to just keep going. So, healing as a lifestyle, all right? Triggers are like sensors or indicators, kind of like on cars. Triggers, things that trigger you, will show you where you have not healed. It shows you where you're broken. It shows you where you need to pour something into. Things that embarrass you, things that people think are dark secrets that you have, things that people think you don't want anyone mentioning. These are the things that gang stalking is going to force you to address. So say, for example, if you're a person who is overweight and you're insecure about it, gang stalking is going to force you to deal with are you going to be okay with being overweight, or are you going to fix it? Because people are going to talk about it. They're going to bully, they're going to talk about it. That's one example. It could be anything from your living situations, your money, your health, it could be anything. People are going to use the thing that you are most insecure about to attack you. And oftentimes these are things that we didn't come to terms with. It could be childhood trauma, things that happened to you as a kid. It could be like any kind of thing. And so that's where you need to pour the healing into. So as you're being gang stalked, as you're being attacked, as people are saying things about you, that's where you need to pour the healing in. As people are coming at you and they're saying to you, oh, well, you don't have this or you can't do that. If you feel triggered by it, now there's going to be some things, like I can speak only for myself. There are some things that I truly do not care about. I'm not going to make any changes or make any fixes, and those kind of things just reconvince me that this is very, very childish. If somebody talks about, I don't know, like your skin color, that you're black, there are some people that is a trigger, that's a wound for them, so that's going to hurt them. For me, it's not going to hurt me because I don't care. It is what it is. I don't think it makes a difference in my life. That is just the attitude that I've had for a very, very long time. So I don't play into racism. They've tried very hard for a long time to play into some type of race wound that most Black people have, but I just don't have that wound, so I don't really care. So I've never played into it. I don't think I'm being targeted because I'm being Black, because I'm Black. I'm being targeted because someone in Brazil paid for me to be away from my ex, and then the people here took it the extra mile and tried to turn me into a drug mule to lock me away. So it is just a situation that continues to dwindle from bad to worse, but it's not because I'm Black. Maybe the person in Brazil might hate that I'm Black, or the people in Brazil, you know, no idea what the true story is, might hate that I'm Black, but I don't care. It doesn't make a difference. There's some issues, that's how you're going to approach them. You just don't care. I talk all the time to my kids about not caring about this shit because it's propaganda. And anytime someone can use something to rile you up, anytime someone can use something to upset you, that is what's going to be used to affect your aura. If someone cannot stop you from achieving, they can't stop you from doing something, they have to try to create a circumstance to get you to self-sabotage, to get you to not want it, to get you to not do better for yourself. So this is it's extremely important that you are guarding your aura. Whatever triggers you needs to be healed. The things that don't trigger you and are already healed, you can fortify those as well. But the things that are triggering to you, you need to sit down with them. You need to address them. You need to look at it like, why does this bother me? Why does this still bother me? What happened here? And address those feelings, those tough feelings that come up. You got to address them and you got to keep going. It indicates what needs attention. You got to accept it. You got to accept it. Whatever it is, you got to accept it. This is where you are now. Excuse me, from the place of accepting that you're being gang stalked, from the place of accepting that people are fighting you, from the place of accepting like this is your new reality, it makes it easier to move forward without always feeling a victim when things happen. You got to just switch that mindset from victor to survivor. If you're constantly sitting here thinking about like, oh my God, well, and you're gonna keep slipping back into behavior as you try to change a mentality or change a habit. You're gonna keep slipping back. You gotta continue moving forward. This thing is not easy to overcome emotionally from the onset, and it takes quite a while for you to get to the point of having that new mentality and that new mindset that I'm not just gonna sit here complaining about being gang stalked. I'm gonna move forward. I'm gonna put one foot in front of the other foot continually, and I'm gonna continue to move forward. The triggers need to be nursed, and I suggest giving it to God. I suggest literally just, if you don't know what to do with it, just giving it to God and being like, listen, I don't know what to do with this, but this is holding me back. You do as much as you can do, and then you give God the rest. That's how it goes. And I have this thing I say, when it comes to God, it's like I tell God all the time, I do the best for you and I give the rest to you. This is the best that I can do. This is all I got. I have no other options. There is nothing left to do with it. And that's a lot of the times what it is. Like, some things are just extremely traumatic. Some things that you've gone through are just extremely traumatic. And there's nothing you can do with it but to give it to God and let God heal it. And I promise you, it's like without you doing very much, you feel the healing. You literally feel lighter. You feel that it's dissipated. You feel that it's okay to move forward knowing that this is a situation, this is what's happened. One thing I definitely want to tell people is it's okay to be alone, because you're going to be isolated in this process. Use this alone time to build yourself, to cultivate yourself into the kind of person that you want to be. I have been pulling myself into isolation my entire life. Every time something is very difficult for me, every time I need to work on something, I need to drown the noise. So I pull myself into a self-imposed isolation constantly. And so that allows me to heal. I think that when you're going through gang stalking, it's such a huge transformation of your life that you kind of want to do it alone. You don't need outside influences and opinions. You got to navigate this yourself. You got to figure this thing out. So it's okay to be alone. If you live alone, if you don't have family with you, the people who do have family with them, thank goodness. But if you are alone, it's okay to be alone. There's nothing wrong with that. Some people do that on their own. So it happening with you, it's not something to be depressed about, especially if you're a person who had a very active social life. The video I made yesterday was about addressing betrayals. You're going to have to address constant people that you loved, helped, supported, been there for, turning against you. That comes with the table of being gang stalked. You got to continue to remind yourself you're not a failure, you're being gang stalked. There is a difference. You're not a failure, you're a you're being gang stalked. Were you not being gang stalked, you would be living your original previous life. So keep that and take that into consideration, keep that in your mind. 3, releasing low vibing emotions. This is a lifestyle. It's habitual. You're going to be persistent because emotions come and go. You can be in a good mood now, and then all of a sudden, right before you do something you're supposed to do, all of a sudden that jury move comes in. Where did that come in? That's probably a psychic attack. If it's not attached to something. Now, I can understand if something actually happens, like say you were supposed to go on stage and perform, but you know that you can't get the speakers going, there's no like electricity to your place, whatever. I can understand that putting you in a bad mood. But if you're just sitting here doing nothing and then all of a sudden you go into a bad mood, that's probably a psychic attack. If you're in that kind of a situation where these low vibrational emotions kick in, you have to be able to get into the habit of releasing them very quickly, immediately, and definitely before you do things that are very important for you to do. This is a lesson that I've been learning. You have to release low vibing feelings and emotions as quickly as possible, whether they are warranted or not. We keep giving like validity to emotions because of environmental circumstances. So because I fell down and I hurt myself, I'm gonna have a bad day. That is a moment, and that's why I say that these feelings, the low ones, they are passengers, they're not drivers. You want your happy emotions driving, and you need the low vibing emotions as passengers that you get to tell like it's time to leave. They are indicators of a problem, of something that needs to be addressed. And you say, thank you, I'm well aware that this needs to be addressed. I'm gonna address it now, and now that it's been addressed, I can put it away. And I'm gonna start addressing things early, sooner, and with more purpose. You gotta feel them, release them in a healthy way. Healthy means you can cry it out, you can breathe it out, you can meditate it out, you can exercise it out, you can dance. Physical movement is a very big one. Whatever it is that you need to do to get yourself out of a funk is essential, and it's just as important as anything else. It's just as important as healing physical wounds. It's just as important as praying, as meditating. All of it comes together. This has to happen for TIs more than normal people, because TIs are being put under strategic, deliberate, emotional pressure. TIs have every reason more than most people to be depressed. But you got to remember, as a TI, you're not the only person that has reason to feel bad. There are people going through war. There are people living in dictatorships. There are people who have lost everything, but they just, what a TI is they've taken these kind of circumstances that life would throw you anyway, and they're trying to keep you trapped in that place of remaining in that dark night of the soul, remaining in that toxic environment, and then they're trying to show you that they are an antagonistic force behind it. So you're going to feel defeated, you're going to feel, but this is not where you stay when you're I always say, when you're going through hell, you don't stay there, you keep moving. It is extremely important that you unburden yourself from these negative, low vibing emotions, that you don't continue feeling like the world is against me and I can't get through this and what is the point and blah, blah, blah. You got to keep moving, because you're still breathing is the point. You got to keep moving. You got to choose a better feeling than the one that you're feeling. This is difficult in the beginning. It is very difficult. You'll even ask yourself in the beginning, like, wait a minute, should I actually be feeling happy right now? Because I just went through blah, blah, blah. You'll actually question yourself, like, this feeling that I'm choosing to feel, it doesn't pair with the thing that's happening to me. So it'll feel odd. Yes, yes, you're supposed to do that. You are. So you'll have a situation where it's like, you just got terrible news and you're still in a great mood. And you'll feel like, well, why am I still in a great mood if this news is so awful? Maybe I should be feeling awfully. The answer is no. You're going to feel amazing. You're going to continue pushing forward, and you're going to get to a point where you choose those moods. So you wake up in the morning and you choose how your day's going to go. You might use words like productive. You're going to use words like cheerful. You're going to use words like, I'm going to have a great day. Today's going to be a great day. You can mention this in your prayers as well, for God to assist you to have a great day. You're going to say that I'm going to have a day where I'm going to be creative. I'm going to feel loved in the world. I'm going to feel hopeful. I'm going to feel joyful. You literally need to make that decision. You should be doing that in your regular life, but you definitely need to do that as a TI. As a targeted individual, you definitely need to make the decision that things are not affecting you. Things that are put in your path to affect you will not affect you, or not affect you any longer. Being followed around, being trailed around as you go from place to place, you have to make a decision that this is not going to cause you anxiety. It is a decision. While we wait for forces to be on our side, we must decide. If the circumstances don't change, then we must change. Our responses to the circumstances must change. So you're making a decision that despite feeling any sort of way, all these different things coming at you, especially to change your vibration. Your vibration is what these witches are working on, your vibration. They want to change your vibration. They want to destroy what you're building. I've been fighting a lot of low vibing feelings coming on here, being irritated, being upset, being antagonistic. I had to learn the tough lesson of fighting over negative emotions. And let me tell you, sometimes, and all the time, it's God putting you through all of this. Not necessarily. These forces are being used for God to build you into who you're supposed to be and direct you on the path that you're supposed to go. And why do I say that? Because none of this is possible to happen if the Most High didn't want it to happen or didn't allow it to happen. That's why we always go in the spirit and we say, God, how could you do this? How could you let this happen to me? Haven't I been a good person? How could you allow this? And then we get mad at God, but this is for cultivating you. This is for building you up. This is for putting you on the right direction. This is forcing your hand. Because we don't listen. We do not listen. Sometimes it takes more than one time for us to get the point. Like children, it takes a series of beat downs for us to get the point. Because one time is not enough. If it happens one time, we're like, oh, okay, that was just an isolated incident. It happens a second time, we're like, oh, okay, I went, 3 days or 3 months or 3 years without it happening. So, maybe it's just another isolated. No, God's like, listen, I'm going to keep you in this fire until you learn how to do this, and that. Until you learn this environment is no good. How many instances have you had that those people who betrayed you showed you their fangs, they showed you their teeth, they bit you? Over and over again you saw this, how people are. And it took betrayals for you to get it through your head. It took all of them coming at once, holding hands like the Power Rangers and activating on you for you to finally get it. And you're still mourning their loss. Why are you mourning the loss of people who would slit your throat for a corn chip that they didn't even receive? The majority of them don't even get paid. And probably doesn't bother them that much because they didn't like you. You were on a high horse. You were doing too well. You were Who did you think you are? They couldn't stand that you got married. They couldn't stand, whatever it is, whatever reason it is that family, friends, or associates just didn't like you. And God has to watch you still mourn these people. Why are you mourning a thorn being taken out of your side? You're being prepared to travel light. So it doesn't matter. You got to keep going. As you come to the point where you are realizing truths about people, as you come to the point where you're realizing truths about your situation, your circumstances, your whatever, you got to even have a mindset of like, well, thank God. Thank God that I found this out. Thank God that I know this now. Thank God that I pulled myself out of this situation, because these people didn't mean me any well. These people were, if I got blessed in front of these people, they would have done the same thing. Now it would have been worse. So maybe this path is being cleared for a reason. Everything that happens to you is always happening for a very good reason. You just don't know what the reason is. That's how it works. You just don't know what that reason is. So it's going to feel uncomfortable for you. It's always easy for you to understand things. It's like there's some people, I think a lot of us are like that, where if we hear no or something doesn't work out for us, it's easier for us to deal with it when we understand why is it happening. Sometimes you don't always need the why. You just need to trust that it's happening for a good reason. That was one of the biggest things that I had to learn during this process, is I do not know why a lot of things are happening. I just trust that it's happening for a higher purpose, and I'm gonna keep pushing. A lot of things I don't let get to me, because I just feel like whatever God's reasoning is, whatever the universe is trying to figure out, they're gonna explain to me at the right time. And I just prioritize other things that I can control, and I just keep it moving. It is what it is. Sometimes you just have to choose the better feeling. You just have to choose that you're gonna have a better day. You just have to make a choice, and it's not gonna be related to your environment. And the more you become a person whose feelings, happiness is not dependent on your environment, that is one of the best skills to have in life, because now you don't need to be worried about if you have money, if you get a divorce, if you fall on your face. You're just gonna have good days and good times and a good life, because you're just gonna be selective about what you care about. It's not that things are not worthy to be cared about, it's just that you don't care about them. You just feel like it's not gonna make a difference to your day. Like, you're in your bubble. It's like the slander. The slander is happening, things are happening, but you can't do anything about it. You gotta like release it from your body, that need to control what people are saying about you, because you cannot control that. So once you decide that you do not care about this slander happening, you just move on with your day. Simple. Is it gonna make a difference in your life? Yes. You address the things that you can address at the time that you address them. Like, let me put it this way. There is nothing people care, like, that irritates people who are trying to piss you off more than you just not caring. So there would be times where I'd have to address something with someone that I didn't know was just making up drama out of nowhere. And they'd be like, well, it clearly seems like you don't care from the way you're responding. And it's like, I'm glad that I'm energetically communicating that to you, because you're flustered about nonsense. I don't have to be flustered about nonsense. I don't have to care about this issue just because you care about this issue. This is an issue you made up. You made it up. It's not real. It's not a real issue. A lot of these issues are made up issues, and they're not real. Somebody says, oh, well, you do this and you do that and I don't like this and blah, blah, blah. It's like, okay, for example, if I make a video and I say in my video, I'm curvy, or better yet, if I say in my video, I'm a mother, and as a mother, because I'm a mother, I don't live a partying lifestyle. That is my reason of why I felt like, do I even want to be going to partying anymore? There's going to be somebody for sure who's going to come and say, well, I'm a mother and I party. And I'm going to be like, Well, I thank you for your sharing your take on that, on motherhood with me. And that's all that I can say. I can thank them for their contribution to the conversation on how they think motherhood should be, people should be mothers. And then they're going to be upset and they'll be like, well, blah, 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 who knows? They're, say this was a business conversation. And I'm talking about something business related, but I say, hey, I'm a mother, I don't party. And somebody says, well, I'm a mother and I do party. I'm going to say, thank you for your contribution to the conversation. And then I'm going to go back to the point. The point is we're talking about business right now. And when you get back to the point, it's like their whole purpose of making up that issue, because that's a made up issue, their whole point of making that up was to get you to engage in it and bring you down to their level and defend yourself. And now you're having a conversation about mothers and what mothers should do. And now all the women on the social media get activated and all the troll accounts get activated and they make it a big thing. You can end it very easily by just thanking someone for their contribution, whether you respect it or not, whether you ask for it or not, whether you care or not. You thank someone for their contribution to the conversation and you keep moving. That's it. That is somebody's made up problem. So this is how you have to address it. When you decide that you're having a good day and someone comes out of left field with some anxious drama, some desperation to put you in a low vibration, this desperation to ruin your day, to make you have a horrible day and think things are not working, you just got to be like, thank you for your contribution to the day or to like what's going on here. And that's it. You don't have to even think about what they said. Like, it's to the point sometimes that I don't actually really read through things. I don't actually like think about, well, what did that mean or what does that mean for me? It's just like, it is what it is. Sometimes I take the evidence for myself. I keep it, for a time where I might need it later on. But to actively address it, to make it an issue, if I had to make everything an issue, my goodness, every single live, I'd be like 2-3 hours talking about everything that has happened. You're a TI. Things are going to happen. They're going to happen all day long. You got to put that conversation down and have productive conversations and move forward with things. Choosing everything about your life is how manifestation works. Choosing the emotions that you're gonna feel, choosing what you're gonna respond to, choosing to continue to move forward in your life and make a difference, choosing to take a new path, choosing to do things that worry you or that are scary to you, choices. This is how the manifestation works. This is how you create a new environment. This is how you cultivate things. So you're choosing to have peace. Sometimes you gotta fight for the peace. The peace doesn't just happen on its own. Sometimes the peace is closing doors on people, places, and things that are disturbing your peace. Sometimes the peace is sitting in a bubble in a chaotic environment. You're outside and a whole bunch of people are targeting you and gathering around you to make it chaotic, to make it uncomfortable, to make it unsavory. And you're choosing not to acknowledge it for the sake of your peace. Let me repeat it again. You are choosing not to acknowledge for the sake of your peace. If you are not here yet, get here quickly. You're sifting and sorting through your environment, picking the things that will serve you, that will help you on your journey, and discarding the rest. You don't have to eat everything that someone forces on your plate. You can give some things back. It is important. I am hacked. I choose not to acknowledge it anymore. It is happening and it is what it is. I am being trolled at times. It is what it is. I have all these things happening. I could go on and on, but they're happening, and the things that I cannot stop, I'm going to either make them work to my benefit, or I'm going to choose not to pay attention to it because I prefer the feeling of peace and positivity. Everything amazing comes from a place of peace. Peace is a breeding ground for beautiful things. Peace is where you find happiness. Peace is where love wants to grow. All the other feelings that they're creating around you, that is where the negative stuff grows. Depression, sadness, toxicity grows from these places. People don't realize that what is inside is what manifests outside. You're a hateful person, you're a jealous person, you want to hurt other people, you want to target other people, and now you keep finding yourself in these hostile circumstances. You just wanted to be a part of targeting someone. Now you're part of a criminal gang stalking group. Now you're implicated in some sort of illegal activity. Now you're part of the cartel. Now this, now that, now that. And it continues to dwindle lower and lower and lower. And you don't realize it's because of what came out of here. The intentions that came out of here. Somebody does something good for you, you never appreciate it. You steal from people, you're entitled. And nothing goes good in your world. Because here, there's nothing good. The soil is corrupt. Nothing good will bloom. You gotta change inside of here. You have to change your vibration. You are vibrating low. And so you have become like a place for lower energies to feast. So they're feasting on everything good in your life. It's like they're consuming the goodness in your life, and what is left, you're going to be left as a shell of yourself, and they're just going to body hop to something else. You're going to be, I couldn't even imagine what it probably feels like when an entity actually leaves you after there's nothing left for it to feed on. So cultivate an inner environment that is peaceful. That is the beginning of manifestation. Choosing to have a good day, choosing happiness, choosing to feel successful. Success does not have to feel like having a lot of money or a lot of accomplishments. Success could be like waking up early today. Success could be like not feeling low today, not vibing low today. Success feels like I made my bed. That was what success was to me at a certain point. I made my bed. I cleaned my house, the whole house. I cooked at home. I didn't fall into people triggering me today, people pissing me off today. That's a success. You got to get used to looking for those moments of success, feeling like a success, and pushing forward with whatever you're doing. Choosing this every day creates a cycle of a feeling of lightness of being. You make this a habit, and it becomes your new normal. Anything that is negative starts feeling foreign to you because you always feel good about yourself. So if I'm always feeling positive, if I'm always feeling uplifted, if I'm always feeling like whether or not things work out today, I am a person who's going to continue working at it until I find a way for it to work out. I can feel successful right now because I know I'm going to get to that place where it works out. All of this is self-directed. I haven't gotten over gang stalking yet, but I know that if I continue keeping up with it, if I continue going along this road, if I continue being upbeat, if I continue trying to find a place where this is not affecting me as much as it is right now, I know that one day I'm going to be successful. And so if I've been in gang stalking for 3 years, 5 years, or 6 years, my hope is that every single year, incrementally, I will make my life better. Every single year, incrementally, every day, day by day, I will make things better for myself. It may not be completely done, but I remember the days where it was worse. It may not be completely done now, but I remember when I wished I could feel the way that I'm feeling right now. I wished I was in this place, and therefore that makes me a success. And don't take any little thing for granted. Everything took you putting one foot in front of the other foot, even if it's just you not being scared, even if it's you just knowing what's going on, even if it's just you being able to stand up for yourself. For some people, it's just being able to go out the door. There were so many people that were gang stalked. I mean, there were people who were like looking left and right before they like came out of my store, because they are being followed, targeted everywhere they go. So a person like that, if the only thing that happens is you feel strong enough to get out and go onto the road, you feel good enough one day, strong enough one day that you can get in your car and drive and not be afraid because these people drive aggressively behind you and come all the way up behind you like they want to crash into you. If you can feel good again to do the things that were scary for you to do, that is a success. You are a success. You have done something successfully. So you can't take the success. It's not just the big things. Big things. Everything can be broken down. Everything that you do that we call manifestation, everything that you do, it's just broken down in a different number of steps. So say, for example, I want to lose weight. Well, really, that may just be 5 steps. You got to make sure you work out, eat properly, stay motivated, and be consistent. Let's say 4 steps, right? If you now want to build a multi-billion-dollar company, that's going to be maybe 1 billion steps. But every step is important and you can't skip steps. So you can't say the person building the multi-billion-dollar company wakes up and is still motivated to build that company, that is not an important part. Nothing could have been done without them just waking up with the determination to do it. And that's how you have to look at your situation, is that you have to continue to remain determined to do the things that you're supposed to be doing. So these negative emotions that you're feeling, they should be feeling foreign to you after a while. You cannot continue feeling as if getting up and being upset is the norm. Being irritable is the norm. Having anxiety is the norm. Having depression is the norm. It's not normal. You got to change that and start now and start today. Even if these people randomly stopped, and maybe they would randomly stop when they felt like they've damaged you emotionally enough, like this is as far as they can go with you, they would have left you a fraction of yourself. They would have left you a shell of yourself, because now you're the type of person who feels as if nothing's gonna go your way. It's like, I'm used to being anxious. I'm used to going outside and taking everything personally. I'm used to connecting dots that don't connect. I'm used to thinking people are following me. You gotta let go of that now, so that whether or not they are following you, it doesn't make a difference, because you can't expect to go out in the world and nobody else to be there. Negativity impedes your day, and it feels extremely oppositional to buoyant moods. So if you think of yourself as a buoy, when you have negative emotions, they hang on and they pull you down. So it impedes the way you attack the day. You attack this day with negative thoughts, with self-defeating thoughts. And so it causes you to self-sabotage. You're on a journey where there is no such thing as making a mistake, because every single thing that happens is meant to teach you something else. Sometimes you stumble into solutions, sometimes you sit down and you strategize the solutions, sometimes you were purposeful about researching what it was online or wherever you do your research. But whatever it is, it's like everything is happening, every hurdle is here for you to overcome. So as people do these things to you, you have to get tired of dealing with it, and you have to say, like, what is the easiest way for me to deal with this? People are not going to stop following me. I'm just going to stop caring. I'm going to stop noticing. And I'm going to take the steps. It doesn't happen immediately because you said so. You're going to take the steps to consistently make sure that it doesn't make a difference, that you're going to do what you're going to do, that other people's opposition towards you does not change your lifestyle or what you want to do. It doesn't change your will to live. It doesn't change you having a good day. You have to make that decision for yourself. Lower entities cannot exist within you in high vibration. Like, if your vibration is too high, you are happy, you believe things are going to work out for you, you're in a positive mood, Lower entities cannot work again. They can't, there's nothing there for them to attach to. It's kind of like a clean metal surface and trying to get something to attach to it, and it keeps sliding off. It's like you're lubricated and they're trying to attach things and it hits, so the weapon forms and it hits, but it slides off. It doesn't attach. People need you in a funk. They need you in a funk to attach these things to you. They need you feeling, giving an example, they need you feeling dejected about making money and having resources and whatever, and then feeling low and feeling depressed. You let yourself be in that mood for a week or two. You let yourself be in that place for a week or two. That's a very long time for people to attack you. Somebody might realize that energetically you're in a low mood in the morning, and they're going to be waiting at night for you to go to sleep to attack you, to attach something to you because you're in this horrible mood. They might go day after day after day sending you bad dreams and bad thoughts and all of this stuff. You're a TI. They're going to put messages in places they know that you seek advice on why your situation is bad and why this is never going to work. And they're going to keep you in that place as long as they can for that attack to really sink in deep. You have to be sure that you do not sit in negative environments, in negative vibrations. You have to be too high for people to reach, and you have to be able to bob in and out of bad moods. Things are going to happen. Things are going to be unavoidable. You got to be able to, yes, it's happened. I'm in, and now I'm going to get myself out. So you have to build an internal process of, how do I deal with these emotions that are not serving me? How do I deal with that feeling of hopelessness, of helplessness, of odds being against me, of not feeling confident to handle this huge situation because you're in a David and a Goliath situation? How do I deal with that? How do I find myself from so sick and dejected and low that I don't even want to brush my teeth? I don't even want to make my bed. I don't even want to make something to eat. I only have energy to lay in this bed. How do I get myself from that all the way to, I really hope I can get out of this. I feel myself being able to get out of this. I feel myself being able to do better. You have to be able to figure out how to do that. Low moods disconnect you from God, or what I would say is the light. The lower you feel, the more disconnected you feel from God's love. And believe me, there is a lot of love for you. It's something when you first encounter it, you have to get used to it. It takes getting used to that level of security, that level of consistent love, that level of always knowing you're going to be taken care of regardless of what things feel like. It takes a while getting used to that, but the lower you vibe, the more you are pessimistic, the more things don't feel good. It disconnects you from all that love. You can't feel it. So that's why I talked yesterday about healing from betrayals, and that was my last live, and you can go check it out. The steps that you want to take to heal yourself, to bring yourself back into a high vibration, to bounce back from negative feelings. You must maintain connection to the light for various reasons, safety being the first. You do not want anything attaching to you right now. People control you through attachments. You do not want to be in a place where you're disconnected from light. Light is protection energy. 6, life happens. You're going to have low moods. It can't be avoided. Mastering your moods, mastering your vibration is how you master alchemy. Alchemy is basically when you do not accept energy for what it is, but you take energy and you do with it what makes sense for yourself. So in order to alchemize energy, if you're being sent low vibrational feelings, you can use that to train yourself, to train your endurance. You can use that to master the lower parts of yourself. You can use that to heal parts of yourself as it presents indication of things that you do need to heal. Or you could just use that, and you should do all of the above. You could just use that as an obstacle that maybe you didn't even acknowledge or know about, and something for you to overcome. So you take all this negative energy that's sent towards you and use it as motivation. Use it to build yourself. You do not have to take energy for what it is. You use it as bricks to lay the foundation of your life. So there are many ways to do that. You have to habitually come to a place where you say, this energy that I'm being gifted, what am I going to do with it? Because energy is mutable. Energy is not static. You don't just get energy and it's like, it's just one thing. It's the same way you can give someone positivity and they could turn it into something negative. You're taking negative and you're turning it into something positive. And it's not even hard. It's definitely not hard. It's as easy as somebody saying, you're fat. And then you saying, well, I don't want to be fat. As you address it, you're like, am I fat? I don't want to be fat. What should I do about it? Now that somebody said you're fat, they triggered you to have the best looking body ever because you just never wanted to feel like somebody could say you're fat again. That is transmutation of energy. It's that simple. Continue to grow from your emotions. Let moods pass. Some moods are just moods. Like sometimes it's not even connected to anything. Like, you know, it's like, for example, I used to be sent anxiety attacks that just didn't connect to anything. There was no need for that anxiety attack at all. Nothing was happening. I was having a great day. And I would notice I would always get anxiety either in the morning or at night when I was meditating. It was meant to get me up from the meditation, distract me. And so I looked forward to my morning anxiety. I would pair it to when I would have a coffee. So I'd try to have a coffee first, then do the meditation, get the anxiety, go to the washroom. I would look amazing after because I just got rid of all the bloat, if I had any bloat. There are times on live I get anxiety, and I remember I was having a couple, like I was making videos and I was like super bloated in the videos, and I had one wicked anxiety attack. I forgot to protect myself during that live. I had a wicked anxiety attack during the live, but I wasn't feeling anxiety because I've dealt with that. I'm immune to the anxiety. So I've dealt with so much anxiety attacks, I don't feel them anymore. Like I was being sent anxiety, like I mean all day long for days. So it just started, it's like my good mood would blend with the anxiety and then it would override it. And then it was like the way that I know that I'm getting the anxiety is my stomach is like, you know, feeling how a person's stomach would feel when you get anxiety. And so I had that anxiety attack. It was brutal. I got off of live right on time, ran to the washroom, no bloat. It got rid of all the bloat. My next set of videos were amazing because I got my flat stomach back. So this is how you just gotta make sure that things work in your favor. Now, one might say it was by design orchestration that I didn't protect myself, because I have other lives where I can feel that anxiety is being sent to me, but I don't feel the anxiety. I can feel that being sent to me, but I don't feel it. I can just tell somehow, but it's not affecting me. But that particular life, I didn't protect myself. And one might say that was divine orchestration. That happened because it was supposed to happen because I was bloated. I really was bloated. I was bloated. Sometimes I fast and I pray and I don't eat and then it gets me gassy. And that's another thing with fasting. Please drink a lot of hot fluids to try to deal with the bloat. But fasting and praying is something I believe in. It's very important to me. Let some things pass because they're just not yours. There's no healing work I need to do with my anxiety because it wasn't mine. This was something that was sent towards me. I didn't do anything about this. I didn't make this happen. So there's no point in me trying to fight as if like, well, what is this trying to teach me or whatever? I know it's a projection. It's a projection on me. So keep that in consideration. Let's talk about how to feel good because I want to give people tips and tricks, okay? I'm going to have to go back in my memory bank of when gang stalking was super horrible. If you feeling good makes you more attractive as a person. This has nothing to do with what you look like. There are people, we call this charisma. We call this, we give this a name. It's a trait in people that we call being charismatic. That is emotional or spiritual attractiveness. That is an ability to connect to people very easily. That is meeting people, connecting, and having a positive experience with that person. It doesn't matter what day they're in because your energy is stronger. So you bulldoze their energy, their bad day, their whatever. They're having a good day, you make it better. And that's not because you're trying, but that's what you're feeling. I want this to be clear because people like to write, I feel the, thank you for that, honestly. I feel the, it's like, put it this way. People like to have a blueprint or like a story of, if I do these things and these things and these things, and people are gonna like me. So they go into the world and they try it because they read it in a book, like the 48 Laws of Power. They read it in a book and then they go and they say, well, if I smile and if I do this and if I compliment them and whatever, then they're gonna like me. They may like you temporarily, but they're gonna realize at some point that you are fake because you can't keep the mask on. You were nice in the beginning, but when they told you their happy news because they thought you were a safe place, instantly you turn on them. Your mask came off. Now you're upset. They can see it in your face that the bubbly person that you were before when you were talking to them when you needed a favor, because usually people who go out and they just want to learn how to be nice, how to make people like me, they're doing it for a personal reason. They're doing it to gain something from other people. There's something that is in it for them that they're doing it. You go out into the world, you go fake this, your mask keeps falling off, and now it would have been better for people to know you as a person who's never happy because now they know you as a person who's fake. They know you as a user and they see you when you're coming. They may be in a group or two people talking and they see you when you're coming and now they're just waiting to see what it is that you want. It's called love bombing. It is something that gang stalkers do every day. These are people who sit down almost like in a classroom and they want to learn. I want to learn how for people not to know I'm a dark energy, that I'm coming here to abuse them, misuse them. I'm trying to weasel my way in, get close to them, make them feel good so that I can abuse them and stomp on their heart and make them feel a betrayal because they really thought that I was their friend. They really thought that I was a good person, but my only objective was to come here to actually deliberately come here to hurt them. Not we fell out because something naturally happened. You owed me money, you didn't pay me back, now we gotta go to court. Nothing like that. I deliberately just came here to get close to you, to break your heart on purpose, or to stay close to you so I can break your heart later. Now, this is the gang stalking version of how love bombing is, but there are a lot of people in our lives that just smiled in our face because of what we could offer them, because how being connected to us made them feel, or a benefit that it gave them. And now these people are betraying you and you see them for who they are. Do not mourn them. Feeling good on the inside is what makes you attractive, genuinely. This cannot be taken away by anyone but by you. You feel good about yourself, how you are. It's not about the clothes that you have. Think about, you know who makes me feel like this? Old people. Old people, a lot of them, not all of them, a lot of them, they don't come out dressed their best. They don't look youthful, vibrant, and sexy. They're not coming out showing you how much money they have. But when they see you, they look into you. They look at you. They really look at you. And they say, young girl, I like your attitude. I like this. They take their time. A lot of times you'll see them, they stop. They are that intentional and focused. They stop and they focus at you and they look at you and you're waiting and they say something and it's authentic and it's true. And they're not necessarily focused on if you like it or if you don't. Like they may say, you shouldn't do that. You should do this. They may stop, they may tell a couple, you guys look really good together. You look like you're in love. Make sure you don't fight when you go to bed or whatever they're gonna say to you. And when you meet people, older people like this, I'm using old people as the example. When you meet people like this, you feel instant bond. They come, old ladies will take candy out of their purse, they'll give it to you. Older people will come, they'll give you a hug, they'll pat your hand, they see pregnant people, they want to touch the belly. All of this is coming out of a place where maybe they live alone and they're looking for connection. They're looking to connect to people. This is authentic. Does this have to do with complimenting the person, making them feel good? It's not really about the other people. This is how they're navigating the world. This is internal. So when they come outside, they just connect to you. They connect to people. This is what it feels like to be good with yourself where you are. They're not coming out here pretending to be something else or thinking like, what can I be? What can I do of myself, or what can I be to make myself more attractive to other people? They are just being what they are and who they are. And this is how you have to go into the world now as a targeted individual. Inside of you, you got this anxiety. Inside of you, you think everybody's gang stalking you. Inside of you, you feel fear. So as soon as you go up to somebody, it's like they're seeing that because you built these brick walls to protect yourself. You're not connecting to people. You go out and you cannot say, hey, how are you? Good morning. Because you're so scared, because every time you ever did that, somebody's mask came off and you're like, damn, here we go again. You got to find the right balance. You got to find the right balance between, hey, how are you? Good morning. How's your day? That's amazing. Thank you for my coffee, and going, as opposed to maybe having a longer conversation where the gang stalkers, wherever they are, like, oh, this person likes this person. We're going to go turn this person. So that the next time you come here and get your coffee, this person is now trying to be your friend, going extra out of the way, going the extra mile. This person is being abusive to you. This person's rude to you, or they won't talk to you, or they freak the person out about you, or they told them some lie. Now this person won't talk to you. You gotta get to that place where you continue to not allow your heart to be blocked, but protect yourself. So you have that balance, but you don't lose your attractiveness. And attractiveness has nothing to do with looks. It has nothing to do with money. It has nothing to do with life circumstances and even the problems that you're going through, because we're all going through something. I was being gang stalked, and I met people who are going through sickness, who are going through all kinds of things. They were going through all kinds of things. And some of them I'm like, damn, I know I'm being gang stalked, but like, I wouldn't want to go through that myself personally. So it's like, I came to the point that, yeah, it could be worse. I keep saying that, everybody, it could be worse. So releasing the things that are too heavy for you to carry so that you go out into the world, and whether or not the physical following you around is done or not, you can still be an attractive human being. You can still be a person who feels compassion for people. You can still be a person who can feel like, you know what, I went through horrible things with these people, but it sucks. They're in a hard situation. That's tough. I wouldn't want to be there. And some people would think, well, how can you have any sort of not hard, dark feelings towards gang stalkers? It's like, if I hate gang stalkers, I hate humanity, because anybody can be a gang stalker without them knowing. A lot of people, I don't think they come up with a pamphlet and they say, would you like to be a gang stalker? They groom you. And I saw this with myself when they first started approaching me, how they would want to groom me into gang stalking. They talk about other people. They get you to hate other people. And now you're having issues with people that you don't know, and this and that. It's like they manipulate you into it. They inject you into this thing of demonizing particular people for no reason. And sometimes you go over there and you're like, I'm sure people come over to my page and I'm like, what are these people talking about? Maybe it's because so many people came to the page and they're like, what are they talking about? Why they sent me all this negative emotion? So it's like, I can be what they said that I was. And I am not that, So you want to be the highest version of yourself. Don't let people take the love and the light out of your heart. You want to be not just energetically attractive, you want to be your best, you want to look your best. If not, I'm not saying get up here and, if you're a woman wearing all the makeup and the high heels and going out of your way, I'm just saying you want to take care of yourself. You want to be healthy. You want to have self-care routines. You want to address when you don't feel the greatest, etc., etc. You want to keep doing these things. You perform better in all facets of your life when you feel like the best version of yourself. When you're physically fit, may not be in the greatest shape of your life, but when you're at least addressing yourself, not letting yourself go, when you're in a happy mood, whatever it is, when I come on here to talk to people, the better my mood, the better the video, the better the live. When I'm in an awful mood, I say to myself, it's not time for me to come on here. I'm not coming on here. There were times I was pushing myself to come on here. I came on here one time right after an accident, and I was being pushed and pushed all day. I mean, they were compounding it. Probably wasn't the greatest time to come on live. But you know what? I still believe that it's still good for people to see me in that vibration, because then you'll understand this is what it looks like. This is how you heal from it. It's not always about perfection. None of us are perfect. It's about, how am I going to heal from this? How am I going to get over this? And if you see somebody else do it, now you can actually do it. It's not, you know, I used to wonder, like, why did God make me come on here and I'm unhealed, or I'm still healing? And you know what? The process of healing is really important to see, because if I come on here completely healed, I'll be on a high horse and I'll be like, well, you guys can do it too, because I did it. But you just didn't see my suffering in doing it. You just didn't see how tough it was for me. So all I can come on and say, well, thank God I healed, but I'd have to dig really deep to like really outline, like, how did the healing happen? Let me remember those days when I was getting these rage attacks and like all of this stuff, like these anxiety attacks. How did I deal with it? So it was important for me to come on here while in the middle of all this nonsense. When you feel good, you repel people who are low vibrating, and believe me, you want to repel them just with your aura. People that are having a great day, people that are not having a great day, avoid them. It's like, I remember when I used to work in like office environments, and there would be the one person that you came in and they were so chipper and happy, and you're there early or you have to stay late, and you're like, you know what, this person's irritating. I'm gonna stay away from them because they're irritating. They're irritating to your low vibe because you are upset. You don't want to be there. So you avoid them. The same way when you're the high vibing person, people avoid you because they're irritated. And how dare you have a smile on your face? How dare you be happy? You know, like, so you, just by being in a better vibration, you're avoiding dealing with people who are in a low vibration. You're avoiding dealing with people. And even, like I said, it avoids entities, it avoids situations. It's like you go out there and you respond to, like for myself, I respond to angry customers, and I'm not in a low vibration and they are. It's like, I'm gonna maintain my vibration. I'm not gonna match people's vibrations because they're upset. You don't know if they're being sent to do this to you. You don't know if they're doing it on purpose. You don't know if they really are upset, but it doesn't help for two people to be irritated at the same time. So there's that. You want to address your life from a place of love and not a place of obligation. And this was something I had to learn. Do not just begrudgingly do things because you love to do it. You're passionate about it. It attracts more to it. It keeps people engaged. It keeps people wanting to be around you, etc., etc., etc. The less controllable you are, the more obsessive these energies are going to become. There are people that want you to match their vibration no matter what. Because they're pissed off, they want you to be pissed off. And the more you're not, they're satisfied and they go away when you get low vibing like them. Some people, you can literally see the smile come on their face. You're dealing with a freaking demon. That's a demon. Like, I don't know if you guys know, when you're dealing with demons, you're dealing with an actual entity. You can look in people's face and like see the entity. You're dealing with demons, guys. It's scary. You gotta be careful. Like, there are people who are just not themselves. Their vessel is not under their control. Somebody should not become happy when you're suffering. It's like they took your light, they took your happiness, they took it, they consumed it, they ate it, and now they're feeling great, and it's like they transferred you their darkness. Do you see? by that engagement. You were having a great day. They came into your space, into your world, into your orbit. They pissed you off. They took yours. Now they're smiling. Now they're walking around with a great day because they took yours by not working for it. It's going to be the ultimate test of your will. You're going to get to a place where you're going to feel these things around you energetically happening. You're going to feel it in the background. Somebody's saying something, somebody's doing something, somebody's whatever, and you're not giving them anything back. It will be the ultimate test of your will only in the beginning, and eventually it's going to get to a place where it's going to be your habit, because lower vibing feelings are foreign. Going back and forth with people, it's stealing your happiness and your light. That's why you gotta avoid them, ignore them, close the door on them, and be grateful that the way they might have left in a betrayal, but you gotta deal with it in a very peaceful way. You got to deal with it in such a way like, God, I just thank you for taking me out of that situation. It is what it is. However it had to go, it had to go. It just had to go. So for me, it's like, if I had to lose some customers, if I had to lose engagement, if I had to lose whatever to be rid of it, thank you. It's gone. It's done. We're over that phase. Let's move forward. And that's how you got to see it. Ways in which you can fortify yourself from these negative emotions, from this low vibration. Meditation, which is relaxation, twice a day. So a lot of breath work, which I talk about on my playlist called Tools for Healing. Sound baths. Sound baths can include water sounds, playing like, the sounds of water running on your computer or your phone or whatever. It could just literally be music. It could be relaxing music. It could be high vibing music, whatever it is. Sound baths will control your emotions. These are ways of doing that you don't have to put much effort into, that you don't have to actually confront issues at the moment if you're not ready to, but you can put different emotional signals in the environment that are going to change what you're feeling. So what comes through your ears is important. What you're listening to controls your vibration. So I have a thing where there's certain kinds of music I don't want to listen to. It vibes too low and it just doesn't sit well with me, and it changes my mood. It gets me you ever listen to like certain music where it's like they're talking about fighting something, or they're talking about like some type of issue, and then all of a sudden you're remembering an issue that you have, and it's not even an issue, it's like a dead thing, it's like a past thing, and now we're not doing that. So light music, exercise, moving your body, dancing, getting up. It doesn't have to be rigorous. You can go for a walk, whatever it is, just making sure that you take care of yourself physically. You get out there, you deal with yourself, you move your body. That is important. Practicing love and loving feelings, recognizing that everybody plays a role. It took me a long time to recognize that the people that are after me are also playing a role in my life. A long time to accept, and a long time to come to terms with it, because I was just like, why is this happening? Like everybody else, why is this happening? But you know what? You have to evolve from gang stalking. You have to look at it like you're not just being gang stalked to be gang stalked. There must be some evolution here. There must be something that happens. There must be something that comes from all of this, not just your suffering. Even if the only thing you accomplish out of here is mastering yourself, something has to be done. Something has to come from everything that is going on. You can't just sit here and suffer and complain the entire time. Nothing good has ever come from doing that. You got to practice feelings of love. I'm not going to say that you're going to love gang stalkers and love your oppressors for sure. I'm not going to say that, because that would be unrealistic. But I am going to say that you can practice not hating them. And it'll take practice in the beginning. You can practice not disliking them, and then you can get to a place where maybe you can try to understand them. and maybe even one day forgive them. One day. Don't push yourself, because it's not going to feel like a natural feeling. It took me a long time to get here. I usually pull cards. I forgot to read this at the beginning. There was another card that I got that I put back in the deck. Let me see if I can remember it, because it actually is relevant. Damn it, I lost it. I lost the card. Oh, shucks. That sucks. Okay, I found it. So these cards, they're like botanical cards with quotes. And one of them says, thankfulness for understanding. Before we can forgive one another, we have to understand one another. That's a quote by Emma Goldman. And it seems relevant for this. I didn't know where this was going, and I put the card back, but it is relevant. Before you can forgive people, you have to understand them. And so one of the things that's happened in my situation is I've had to understand, like, how do people get into gang stalking? And I realized that a lot of people were gang stalked to gang stalk me. And that gang stalkers are typically people that once they start gang stalking, they're stuck in that. They're stuck in that lifestyle. They're stuck in that place. Two other cards came out. One says nobility and self-esteem. There is nothing noble in being superior to your fellow men. True nobility lies in being superior to your former self. That quote is by Ernest Hemingway. You'll notice that there's a superiority complex with people gang stalking you. They definitely feel like they are better than other people. They definitely feel like they are superior. They definitely feel like they go out of their way to make people feel like that, but these people do not love themselves, and it shows. And this card keeps coming up. This keeps coming up all the time. So I'm going to read it again. This is a card that says, 3 things cannot long be hidden: the sun, the moon, and the truth. And that's a quote by Buddha. So that is what those cards are. Anybody that is new to watching me here today, I pull crystal cards. I don't always remember to pull them, but I remember today, so I'm going to do it. I pull crystal cards every day. I pull a crystal of the day, and that card just kind of usually has some sort of significant meaning, maybe sometimes to what I'm talking about, maybe sometimes not, but either way, I read it. Labradorite, that's the one I'm going to read today. Labradorite is the crystal for esoteric knowledge, and it's the aura protector. And obviously we were talking about auras today, how healing fortifies and protects your aura. So the vibration on this is high. This highly mystical crystal is a bringer of light containing esoteric knowledge. Raising consciousness and connecting with universal energies, it takes you into another world and other lives. Protective Labradorite creates an interface between your own personal energy field and that of another person, deflecting unwanted energies from the energy body and preventing energy leakage. It is excellent for screening yourself while allowing awareness of what is happening in another field. You do not take on thoughts and feelings, but remain objectively aware. This crystal opens intuition and activates psychic gifts. It draws messages from the unconscious mind to the surface, facilitating understanding, internal conflicts, and multiple agendas. Basically, it protects you from people pushing into your energy field. On the body, it protects eyes, brain, hormones, and menstrual tension. And in the mind, it stimulates imagination, promotes rationality, and contemplation. And this is what it looks like to anybody interested in getting it. And I'll put it in the description box of this video. It's Labradorite. It's a protective crystal. I'm gonna go ahead and pull a spirit message card of the day. Take the messages from these cards only if they apply to your situations. In that, for example, sometimes these cards are going to be like rest and rejuvenate. And if you're not in a rest and rejuvenate place, if you're in a get up and go and get up and get your dreams, figured out place, then don't take the rest and rejuvenate message. Okay, so use discernment with anything. I don't necessarily take all the cards that I pull either if they are not serving to me or if they don't make sense to my situation. So the two cards that came out: don't allow negative emotions to fester. If you are feeling frustrated, angry, or hurt, for example, just acknowledge that. Instead of fighting your feelings, go with them and work with them. Then true healing can really begin. So obviously, healing is a topic here for somebody who's gonna see this message. And the second one is let go of the old and make way for the new. You may find yourself being distracted by random thoughts, fears, or doubts. Don't allow yourself to be governed by them. Simply observe and choose to take aligned actions and choices. So you gotta heal, then you gotta be confident and brave enough to move forward. The healing has to be consistent, habitual. It has to never stop. You have to continue doing it because that is what's going to take you into your new beginning. And you don't get to just sit in gang stalking forever. You gotta at some point take a step forward into the unknown, do something new, move forward. Thank you to everybody who hung in there for the live. Thank you to anybody commenting. Please like the live, share on your platforms as well, subscribe, become a new subscriber, and check out all the playlists. There's so many different playlists. I try to categorize all of them. You know, there's a lot of stuff for healing, there's practical information, there's stuff that I think is critical to gang stalking, and I'm gonna continue creating this page almost like a Bible for getting through gang stalking, doing your best to hang in there, stay on your feet, and eventually get out. So I thank you, have a great day, and God loves you.